So here it is, guys, my CyberPower PC. Now, it's completely different from my CyberPower PC, but that's not something I'm going to get into. I'm just going to show it off for now. All the detail and stuff like that for now, start it up, and then I'm going to go over to my PC and talk about it. Well, not to my PC, but my chair, and sit down and talk about it. But yeah, this is about the overview for my PC. This is what it looks like. I keep it actually, it used to be below my keyboard tray, but now it sits on top next to my PS5. And yeah, I'll get into it now. So let me get into a rundown of what my PC actually is. Now here it is. This is what I got originally. AMD Ryzen 5600X, 3070, ASRock B550 ITX motherboard, Crucial RAM that was 16 gig kit, 8x2, 3000 megahertz, WD Blue 1 terabyte M.2 SSD, 4 terabyte hard drive. I got the stock cooler. Now AMD didn't include stock coolers with their new Ryzen CPUs, so what they gave me was this Cooler Master CPU. I've not been able to find out what it is online, but it was called a stock cooler. It matches literally nothing I can find online, but it's a stock cooler and it's by Cooler Master. A Fantex Metallic Gear Neo Mini, that's the case, and then the power supply is a Thermaltake Tough Power GF1 750 watt 80 plus gold. So that's what I had. Now I'll get into why my PC is not that anymore. It's because I made a mistake. It was my first time buying a PC. I didn't know how it was gonna go. I didn't know not how it was gonna go. Well, I really didn't know how it was gonna go, but I didn't really know all the parts very that well. Had I known what I know now, I would have gotten a 5800X instead of 5600X. I would have upgraded I made the decision that with the RAM I was just gonna buy it there because it was included for free, and I would just upgrade the RAM myself. But I would have made the decision to upgrade way later because I got this in June, and now the RAM prices, especially for 32 gig kit that's 3600, which is what I bought to replace, is way lower than I paid in June. So I would have waited, and because of 3000, it worked fine. It was doing fine. It was great actually. The case I would have honestly kept the case. I probably just would have done the transferring myself. Power supply, I might have gotten a bigger power supply just so I can use it later in the future. But honestly, I don't really regret getting the 750 watt because it's enough for 3070. And now I'll give you to what is my current PC. So I changed the font a bit to make it look a little different. So I replaced that 5600X like I was talking about with the 5800X. I replaced the RAM with the 32 gig kit. I got an AIO, I'll talk about that later, and I changed the case to a 280X. So why did I make these changes from that CyberPower PC? So my CyberPower PC was, first of all, it came with a dead graphics card. I could not display anything to it unless I booted in safe mode. I took it to Best Buy because I had it basically was free. I don't want to give like an advertisement, but the going to them was free. So they did tests and they were like, yeah, for some reason your graphics card when it installs the drivers it just breaks and doesn't work. You're gonna just have to RMA it. I was like, great, that's gonna be like 3 months. Turns out it was like 10 days, and most of that experience with CyberPower was so ham-fisted and so bad, and it was because I was had to go down somewhere else, and I needed them to send the PC to that other place, and for some reason their experience was so complicated. You had to change address and stuff like that. It was weird. You had to fill out a form and stuff like that, and I kept hounding them. I was like, "Yo, can you guys just send me the label so I can send this back to you?" And it was so complicated and stuff like that. And they're like, you have to wait a certain amount of days. And then it just came down to, like, after I waited the certain amount of days, I talked to some guy and he immediately just gave me the shipping label. So it's like, why skip all those steps? How about you just let me verify myself on a call with someone and they just send me that shipping label immediately, like they did, instead of making me it, I had to physically wait 2 business days, and it was on a Friday that I finished this. So I had to wait a physical 2 business days. Then I was able to call them. And I asked the dude, why couldn't I just do this immediately when I told you I need a RMA return now? And he was like, you just have to wait 2 days. And it's like, and you have to wait 2 business days, sorry. And I'm like, that's the dumbest process in the world, dude. It's like, I want to RMA it here. Let me give you all the information I have, and then let's just do this. Let's get it done. Why are we wasting time on sending the damn product to you? And it's like the 10 days, it was like 10 to 14 days, something like that. That was all not encompassing the support call and stuff like that. That was encompassing um shipping it to them and then getting it back. So it was pretty fast. I was actually surprised. Honestly, a lot of people I've told that to been surprised about that too. But yeah, so that was my CyberPower support experience. Not great, not good, but it was passable. Um, so why did I make the decision to change all this stuff? Well, it has to do with the graphics card. So in that old case, I wish I had a video, I wish I had photos. Um, it came in a vertical mount, and what they had to do was dumb it down, the connection. Some people were telling me that, vertical mounts aren't the best, riser cables aren't the best. And so I was like thinking about that. I was like, okay, it doesn't really matter. The case also was really hot. It ran really hot. But the thing would be fine. But it was a concern to me because, the CPU running hot, GPU running hot, they would degrade over time, and that's not something I want. Especially since, I was streaming and playing a game. It degraded really bad, and that also brings up my 5600X. Sometimes it would not happen with every game. It happened with, weirdly, um, that the Artful Escape, where I would drop frames. Cyberpunk, actually, I got that under control. It happened one time, and then I just lowered it down. Um, but yeah, I was dropping frames while streaming, and I was like, okay, 5600X is not enough, clearly, and I need to move to a 5800X. I don't know if the 5800X is enough, but for now it is. And honestly, the 5800X is the upgrade I wanted to have. Um, the RAM, to be honest, I have no clue if that has made a difference. I have no net way of testing it. From all the videos I've seen, your RAM does not matter. That speed at the end really doesn't matter too much. You could get a 3200 and it could be fine. But like I said, the RAM, I wish I waited because it substantially dropped in price. Not this specific one, but like a lot of them. And I honestly would have just gotten the crucial one had it been that. This was the only one Best Buy had though that worked with AMD. So that was that. Now the drives, so the SSD and the hard drive. How I got both of those is CyberPower was running a promotion where they gave those away for free. That is why I had both of those. There's no special reason. That's it. The AIO. So I actually wanted to upgrade from a 5600X to a 5900X because I saw on Reddit this dude was giving a great price for it. It was about the same as a 3800X. It was about there to where it's like you might as well just go with the 5900X. I get it. It does not work at all. It just keeps crashing every single time it gets a little hot. And it's not like ridiculous temperatures. I mean, it would get up to 50 and it would crash. Like at idle, it was 43. Like, so I could run like, Word and stuff like that. But then it would just it wouldn't blue screen, it would just black screen and then come back on. And then sometimes it would blue screen and then just leave. So I tried a lot of things. I figured out it was because the heat chip in the CPU was busted. And I figured that out because I took it to someone so they, transfer all this stuff into a new case and stuff like that, and upgrade the CPU and upgrade the AIO. Now I know how to do all that stuff competently, because it just clicks with me now. So I don't need to ever do that again. But that's what the dude told me, and I kind of disregarded it. I was like, no way. And it just never kept working. So I put the AIO. I used to have the stock cooler on it. I never had the stock cooler on it. I always had this AIO. This was a brand new AIO. The case is really good because right now I get in the 30s sometimes, especially when it's really idle. When I'm doing like Word, it might get up to like 39, and then when I play games, it will start ramping up. We'll get in the 50s. For the CPU. My GPU is also substantially cooler, so I do have more case fans too. I have like some basic RGB ones just because they were like cheap, and then I have some slimline fans that are underneath my GPU that can cool it also. So in total on the case, I have 6 fans. Um, I don't think you really need great case fans to cool your CPU, and what I mean by that is, I mean not CPU, the cool just your entire PC. Um, I don't think you need to spend a lot of money just to get that. I spent 30 on 5 fans. I'm using 4 of them, so one is just sitting in a box. And then I have 2, and I have RGB. It looks nice. It does nice. The thing is, I just have to use this stupid remote to control the RGB. It did come with a fan hub, so that was cool. Um, but yeah, so my CyberPower PC completely transformed. It has way better cooling. So that was the thing, is the case that it came with did not provide great cooling. It wasn't that, hey, I can put an AIO in here and it's gonna improve, hey, I can put more fans. It just did not have cooling. Like, it had a really nice the glass side panel, but it had like really nowhere for air to flow. Um, on the back there was like this one cutout. The front it had these like side ones. It just was not good. This one has a giant back one. The front has a glass in front of it, but there's a lot of space between the glass and fans to where air can also go out. The top um is just open. It can just let air out. It usually would have a filter and glass on top of it. I took those out because the temperatures are way better. Um, and then it has that glass side panel. So I like the case a lot. And you know, the other one, my old one, was an ITX case. But this one is about as wide and about as tall. It is maybe, I think, 2 inches taller and maybe an inch or two wider. Um, I don't know how maybe not an inch or two wider, but it is wider. I have a lot of management in the back. My hard drive is now not in the way because it used to be right next to the CPU, is where they had to mount it. It is now in like an easy, like little pop tray thing that I can access from the outside, not even having to go in. I like that a lot. I can now see my SSD, which is nice. My SSD was actually covered by my GPU originally, and the GPU also covered the RAM. So you would have to take the GPU out if you wanted to do anything with that, or the CPU. Now I really don't have to. Um, it's just overall better. Um, so what is this experience? Like, to get a GPU, this was the best way, and I think it is still the best way. In fact, when I got my 5800X, I went to Micro Center and I told the dude, yeah, I got my PC basically from CyberPower, and he's like, yeah, that's the best way. Just get a pre-built. You will get a GPU. You are guaranteed to get a GPU. I had to wait about a month. It was, yeah, it was about a monthish to get my PC, but I've been looking online, and if you live next to a micro center, their power spec, some of those builds are really good, and they have GPUs. my Micro Center, it has a couple of them that have like 3070s and 3080s. You might as well just go get it. And the case might be bad. All you do is just chuck the case and buy a new one. Maybe even sell the case. I mean, that's what I did when I upgraded my 5800X. I just sold my 5600X, and the net was not terrible at all. The CPU cooler, there's nothing really I can do about it. The RAM, I sold it. That wasn't that bad either. So, and it would have been really good had I just waited. So it's like, it's not bad to buy a pre-built in the grand scheme of things. CyberPower, the support, it could do a lot better. But what CyberPower really did well was there was a 5% off coupon. That was helpful. There was stuff I got for free, and it was the two drives. Even the RAM I think was included, and then the 750 watt I think I had to pay an upgrade for that and the 3070. Um, the case I think also made it kind of expensive because it was an ITX build. If I'd gotten like a regular build, it probably would have been less. So that's also something to consider. The case I use right now is an MATX case, so I can even get rid of the ITX eventually and go MATX and get more feature set, like getting more M.2s on there. Having another card in there is also a helpful thing. Like I can only have one one card in the slot because there's only one slot. But yeah, there's a lot of things to consider, and also people might ask, well, why didn't I wait until AMD announced the new CPU, or why didn't I just wait until the new Alder Lake CPU? And it's because I would have had to buy a new motherboard. That's honestly what it comes down to. AMD, this is the last AM4 socket in a motherboard. And to be honest, that's not worth the cost. I'll just keep it for 4 or 5 years, whatever time, and then upgrade them. That makes the most sense. So yeah, that's all I have to say about my PC. My CyberPower PC is kind of an interesting experience. You know, there's a lot of weird quirks. Overall, honestly, I like Mac OS better than Windows. I think Windows is horrible, and it's unacceptable to have spend all this money and then the thing work horribly and just not work. And it comes down to, well, it's just how it is. You know, you just sometimes the drivers just crash your entire thing and you have to revert back. That's just how it is. Sometimes a Windows update destroys your entire thing. That is not acceptable. How is that even a thing? When you update your Mac works. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but my Mac, its OS crashed. My old MacBook Pro. All it did was re-download it, and it did it automatically. I didn't even have to do anything. It just was like, hey, your OS like had a software error and crashed. You just need to click this, and it's just gonna reinstall everything. And that's what it did. I just lost my data. It wasn't a lot of data because I had it in the cloud. I had most of it in the cloud, but yeah, I mean, Windows is a weird experience. Linux is something I never want to touch because it sounds like a nightmare. And yeah, that's my first PC experience. I hope you guys like it. Leave a like, comment what you guys think about PCs. What's the best way to get a graphics card? And yeah, I mean, peace out and see you in the next video. Bye.